Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation coach under the sun. Reason why there's no such coaching program like my coaching program, and nobody spends as much time on their clients like I do. True story. 2 to 3 times per week, I rendezvous with you each and every single week, okay, 2 to 3 times per week. My coaching is monthly, okay, month to month. I recommend 2 to 3 months minimum to cover my coaching program if you want to do it in earnest, okay? So there are 3 packages if you're doing that: audio exchange, Zoom sessions, or phone calls. And of course, all of this has direct access to me. If you have in between some kind of questions, there's emails, of course, included, and text messages to me. The audio exchange also contains some phone calls, so it just depends on your schedule and your personality, which package you prefer. Now, some packages are more money simply because I spend more time, for example, on re-listening the recorded conversation via phone. It takes me 2 to 3 hours sometimes. I take all the notations by hand, and I take an extraordinary amount of notes. I really want to know you. I really want to help you the best I can. And for that to happen, I really need to spend time on you, especially in the beginning of our coaching and all throughout it, really, because I'm interested in what you're telling me, your background, your history, the way that you grew up. I cover all of that in my coaching, and then we proceed to process a lot of things that I give you exercises to do that, and then and only then I guide you to create your new life. Okay, so I understand that a lot of coaches out there do not do it this way. This is the right way of doing things. All right, so if you really want to, if you're serious about changing your life once and for all and really understanding manifestation inside and out, that's how you do it. Okay, learning another affirmation or another fucking technique, okay, that is not going to help you. It's just going to frustrate you. Why do you think a lot of people watch all these videos and have no answers in their life? Because that's not the answer. Another technique is not the answer, okay? Additionally, I've included another coaching package, which is speed course for a month, and this is for somebody advanced. It's basically my entire coaching program compiled in 1 month, and that's intense because you have to be available 4 times a week, okay, which is the frequency with which we talk. And don't forget, you have assignments in my coaching at the end of each session, so you have to really be prepared to zero in on this coaching for a month. But if you're one of those impatient people and you're already advanced, you could achieve some great results there. Again, additionally, anybody who's gone through my coaching and is coming back like a few months or a year later, there are phone calls available now, 5 phone calls and 10 phone calls. And again, this is not coaching. This is not the coaching program. This is just doing touch-ups, okay, for somebody I already have gotten to know, okay, that I don't need to do so much work with and on. Okay, now parenthesis here, I really want to reestablish something. It is the best idea with me is to pre-book me. Okay, I have 25 clients sometimes at a time. And so there's a rotation. So somebody leaves my coaching, and the first person who is booked, meaning paid for, okay, if you don't know what booked means, is the next in line for me to reach out to and say, hey, do you want to come on board? Okay, so if you're serious about this, you need to pay first and reach out to me. Even if it's an hour session, okay, you really need to book first and then reach out to me and tell me what you want to accomplish in that hour. And also, an hour session isn't really a coaching session. It is a phone call for us to get to know each each other and figure out if we are the right fit for each other, so that then you start coaching with me month to month. I do not do these situations where it's like, can I purchase, 10 phone calls at $200? Well, okay, you could, I suppose, but that's not the objective here. The objective is to really zero in on what you're doing with your manifestational goals, and get an hour first and then commit for a month. And I can always apply that hour session to your monthly, but don't expect miracles to happen in 1 hour. That's what I really wanted to say. It is not a coaching session. It's just to make sure that you and I are compatible. And of course, I ask you many questions. I do make suggestions, etc., etc. But don't expect, the sky to turn pink for you in 1 hour. Okay, I'm sorry. And also, once you book, please sign and date by hand the coaching agreement and have it ready to send. Be ready to, rock and roll, in other words. In other words, in case it's not clear, purchasing phone calls, even if you purchase 10 of them, isn't coaching. You need to be committed to this, okay? You need to be committed for a month so that I can take you seriously. And then depending on the time that it takes me, depending on your history, depending on your situation, it's 2 to 3 months minimum. That's just standard, okay? It might take you longer. It might take you 2 months. I don't know your situation. You know your situation. But essentially, purchasing phone calls is not how I roll, okay? That's not how I coach. This is not what the premise is here. The subject of today is wake up into a reality of ultimate desire. Okay, so I kind of wanted to discuss this more than anything, really, more than SPs or anything like that. But of course, your SP is part of the package of the ultimate desire. It's not to say that it isn't. However, my coaching and my teachings is centered around you being the best version of yourself, right? And so this is kind of where we arrive at the end of my coaching, where, emotionally you're stable. You are completely in concert with the understanding of what it is you want to create, at the very least, if not creating it already. And really, some people have quit their jobs in my coaching, started businesses, manifested money, got engaged, this and any other. And so it ultimately becomes about this, right? Where is it you're going? I know where you are may not be where you want to be. It isn't the conversation to be had, right? I mean, the work is the work. You need to have the work done in order to accomplish something. And sometimes you might need help of a coach. But the idea is that ultimately a coach is just a guide and isn't going to help you decide what it is you want. And I think the idea becomes just that. If nothing was an object, if money was no object, if time was no object, if age was no object, or nothing at all was stopping you, what would you really prefer to live day in and day out? What kind of reality would you wake up to? And when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about some kind of like wishful thinking. No. I'm talking, literally. I'm always talking literally. I think some people think that I'm just kind of like embellishing things on my channel sometimes. No, I'm talking literally. I'm always talking literally. And so last night, for instance, I was going through, I have this playlist of meditation tapes that I really love. And I compiled it over the years, over the last 10 years or something. Maybe more, actually. Maybe close to 14 years. And there was this meditation tape that I used to listen to quite frequently, like about 13, 14 years ago. And it reminded me what I was imaging as I was meditating to this meditation, what I was imaging, what kind of a world I was creating. In every department of my life, right? Money-wise, where I live, what I have, the kind of men I'm dating or am with, who I am as a person, what I'm doing day to day, okay? And, it was such a funny thing for me to realize that all of it is here now. It literally is. It was as if I was in that meditation, I was peeping into the reality of this world right here where I live today, right? And so this thought came to me, which look, this is not the first time I've done this, all right? And I intuitively taught myself that as a child when I was 12, just what would it be like to live in France? What would it be like to hear French language all around me? What would it be like to be in New York, where there's like skyscrapers and this and that? I mean, I've manifested things that it's inexplicable other than you create it out of your imagination, out of your consciousness, right? So even the house I live in, right? So I know how I created it, and it was as if it was made for me, okay? I remember having visions about it. There's no other way for me to explain it other than that. I never saw it before in my life before I first landed my eyes on it, and yet it was everything I was describing, and the visions that I had 4 years before I ever saw it, it was in my mind. And so it's the selection of this parallel reality that you want to then later occupy. And however long it takes you, it truly depends on the intensity of your desire and the commitment to the work on that desire, right? And it just reminded me that time is actually not linear at all. Events are not linear, because as I was listening to that tape last night, kind of like going through it and rearranging my meditation tapes, I realized that, it's as if the person, my other version, who used to live in Midtown at the time, is still there, still listening to that tape for the first time, still fantasizing about the world that is over here now for me. And all that changed is that the consciousness shifted from the awareness of being over there to now being over here. Right? And I think that's all that it needs to happen for you to achieve your goals. Now, of course, parenthesis here, doesn't happen overnight, didn't take me overnight. It took gradual work, and this had to happen and that had to happen, and all these other components had to come together. But it's the orchestration of your imagination that brings it together so beautifully. And the work again needs to be that you allow that world to come over here with your beliefs, right? If you don't believe it, right? So if I believe I can manifest $1 million overnight without work, without doing anything, just somebody just hands me that $1 million and I don't have to do anything for it, I can do it. But if somebody does not believe it, not even for a second, even though they really want to believe it, right, it is not going to happen for them. And in one of my videos, I think it was Thought Transmission is Your Superpower. It's a miracle that I remember that was the video, because I have so many. And I usually forget what the fuck I'm saying in all these audios, truth be told, because I'm just so in the channeling mode, I just talk, But anyway, in that video, I say, even if you didn't get out of bed, even if you didn't brush your teeth and this and that, you can manifest $1 million. And then I realized, not everybody's operating from this belief system. And so, of course, belief systems have to be adjusted to that, yes, I can do that. If it's my belief that I cannot, well, then I have some work to do. I have to really get familiar with that world in which $1 million is a sneeze for me. $1 million is like $10, okay? For somebody who, $1 million is a lot of money for, all right? And so it's a matter of perception. It's a matter of telling a really beautiful story that is completely different and is a story of this new version of yourself for whom this is totally normal. This is not like, oh my God, so great. No, it's totally normal, okay? It's really like, you ever see people, for example, it's probably a silly example, but nevertheless, people who have always had wealth in their families and are totally relaxed about it, and it's apropos, it really doesn't matter, it's just like, it's normal. They don't flash it. They have nice cars, they have nice houses, but their demeanor is very humble. Versus people who acquired wealth through some, situation, and they really still can't believe that they have it. And you can tell by their attitude, the kinds of clothes they choose to wear, and it's very flashy and all in your face and very braggadocious and this, that, and the other. Okay, it's okay to like share what you have, meaning like this is how I did it and isn't this great? But when you're still in this disbelief of like, oh my holy shit, bananas, I can't believe I'm wealthy, it shows, right? So you're still not in concert with that consciousness. Whereas if your consciousness is like, I've always had it. It feels like I've always had it. This is who I've always been. Again, a person today may have nothing, right? Money-wise, SP-wise, whatever-wise, right? Whatever it is you want to create. But inside their mind, they're cultivating this story, this world that is good enough for now for them to feel like they're already there. And to tell you the truth, this is how I did everything in my life. This is how I teach for everybody in my coaching to achieve results with patience, with perseverance, with knowing. What is knowing? That this parallel reality already exists, has always already existed. Therefore, you right now who doesn't have that something, your SP or whatever it is you're after, $1 million, this is just temporary. This is just one version. This is just for this moment right now. In the next moment, you will be stepping into that parallel reality in which all of these things already are there. They have always been there. I don't know how else to explain it. It's as if like centuries will pass by. That reality will always exist. Okay? And so the idea then becomes, it's like if you really want to travel quantum leap, okay, have a profound change, again, you need to do the work on yourself. There's no going around it. It's just not. Otherwise, it's not going to stick, you guys. Okay, that's just the reality of things. I don't know how else to say it. You do need to do the work on your beliefs. You do need to have some kind of a mentor or a coach or something like this, because it takes for you to have somebody to hold your hand through the process. Otherwise, if you're not disciplined, in particular, if you're not disciplined enough, if this has never happened to you before, the things that you're wanting to create, you will be very tempted to veer off, okay, and not have this kind of lighthouse, if you will, of a person to guide you back to center. But essentially, what you're really doing is you're en route to that reality as you're working through your beliefs, as you're shifting parallel realities, gradually so, but very persistently, in a very determined way. And what you can do to quantum leap once more is essentially putting what it is you're after right now, SP, money, career, in the past. It's already happened. Then the fact is it has already happened. Just like I had visions of that reality that I'm living now, it was already existing. I just had to step into this reality. Okay? So you're putting it in the past, like it's already playing out. It has already happened. I've always had it. Versus I want it, right? It's kind of like needy to I've always had it. And it's very easy for me. It's normal for me and natural. It's really, really easy for me. And, like sometimes you have a gift, some of you, or you worked on a gift, or you kind of like acquired some kind of a talent, or maybe you were born naturally with that talent. And people ask you, how the fuck do you do this shit? And you're like, well, it's just like that. It's just normal like that. Right? To them, it's foreign, but for you, it's totally normal. And so that's how it is, you have to make it totally normal. And then it's like shed on Velcro, not for nothing. That's a borrowed phrase from Robin Williams, by the way, and from his stand-up. I like that expression, shed on Velcro. It cannot get away from you because it's already happening. How can it get away from you? Okay. Traveling through parallel realities, it does include, right, selecting everything. What does my money look like? What does my honey look like? Who is he or who is she? What do they look like? Or is it a specific person that you're now reworking or changing something? What do they act like now? Okay, that's another component of the world. What kind of work do I do? What kind of people do I work with? Right? How do I dress in this reality? How do I smell in this reality? What kind of activities am I part of? Right? What kinds of friends do I have? What kinds of places do I frequent? Like what kinds of restaurants or whatever, auctions or, galleries, etc. What is the overall mood in my reality? What am I feeling completely secure, safe, loved, adored? Am I constantly checking my bank account, waiting for my paycheck? You see, these are the kinds of things that you need to select and put in place like Legos. This is my money, this is my honey, this is the place I live in, this is the area I live in, and I'm so proud of it, and I feel the exhilaration behind it, and it feels like love, and it feels like joy, and it feels like bliss and euphoria, right? And so this becomes, then this energy starts to kind of like, it's as if it's, I don't know how to say it. It starts vibrating with you on the same level. It's like you're calling it into reality. When you start choosing all these things, right? There's no parallel reality that doesn't exist already. So whatever you choose, you're not so original that it doesn't exist already. In any which way you choose it, any which way you choose it. I really just want to stress it. And so this reality will start like kind of communicating with you. You will start having inspirations. You will start meeting people. You will start getting certain like unusual, in quotations, events that the previous version of you would never, encounter, or people you would never normally encounter. You would start making money that you have never made before, right? So it's this kind of like a telephone conversation, if you will, across the quantum field with that reality that you're now feeding your energy to and energetically calling into your world, right? And again, the intensity with which you do this will really bring it about. It depends the time that it takes you, basically. The intensity equals the time that it takes you, okay? So if you're not intense, if you're not knowing that reality exists, if you're not persistent and consistent, right? Because most people, it's like this. Okay, Anna, I want to manifest my SP back, but I don't believe it. Okay, well, therein lies the problem. Or I want to manifest $1 million, but I've never seen this money in my fucking life. Okay, well, therein lies the problem, right? So this is something to work on, maybe with a coach. And this, quite frankly, listen, knowing, I cannot teach you this. You need to arrive there. It will click in at some point when you really work on your beliefs. There's nothing else going on, excuse me, other than your beliefs. Because your beliefs are literal, I don't even know how to say it. You know what a kaleidoscope is? These little like colored glass situations, mosaics. The beliefs are those little colored glass situations that you look through at reality, noticing something and disregarding something else. And so if you believe that money is hard and $1 million never in a million years will ever come to you, then that's what you see through those beliefs. So the beliefs need to be rearranged. That mosaic needs to be rearranged so that it serves you. Understand? At some point, you will arrive, if you work on this diligently, you will arrive at this kind of like little door will open for you, metaphorically speaking, in your consciousness. And you will get a whiff of this knowing, oh yeah, that's who I am. That's the parallel version of me. Right? So for me, honestly, not to brag again, right? But you guys know my story now, it's out there, and that I recorded it on purpose just to kind of talk about everything that, I've been through and la la la. For me, knowing came naturally, all right? Since I was 12, if I really wanted something, I always got it. I just did. I don't know how I did it. I just knew it, right? But the human side of me needed to have some shed processed until I literally integrated all of that other dark stuff that my human self went through, in my formative years. But knowing, it's the arrival at the understanding of that reality exists and it's mine. It's mine. It's a part of me. It's a part of my consciousness. It's not separate from me. It's right there available for me. And if I dedicate my time to getting to know it, vibrationally speaking, feeling wise, and selecting all the components of it, there's no way that I will ever be able to stay away from it, or it won't be able to stay away from me, because we're one. We're already one. My awareness is just focused on something different because my beliefs are, somewhere else. right? And so that's really all it is. Your consciousness needs to acquire new beliefs so that you shine through onto the world through your new beliefs, a different kind of story, right? Because it's all coming from you. The consciousness is in your it's kind of like the light. It's like I'm the light of the world, John, I don't remember what, from the Bible. I don't remember the numbers, but it's from John. I am the light of the world. It means like the consciousness is shining through me, and it's out picturing into the 3D essentially. And so it really matters if no fucking technique in the entire motherfucking world, okay, will substitute the work that you can do very effectively on your beliefs and see such paradigm shifts that you haven't even fucking dreamed of right now. Seriously though, have I made my point clear? I'm so serious though. And if you allow yourself to really go there, to really experiment with this, to really understand how much power there is in that there is all versions of you already anyway, right? From the most disastrous version to the most magnificent version. So why not choose the ultimate version of your reality with everything intact? And yes, you can have it all. I don't believe in this bullshit where it's like, oh, you can't have it all. Yes, you can. Yes, in fact, that's the whole idea, where it's like you choose the reality that is completely ultimate. No, it cannot be that one thing is out of whack and everything else is nice. No, that's not the ultimate then, is it? Right. So there's the reality where you do have it all and you are allowed it and you do deserve it. And so it just basically becomes by programming yourself anew, okay, starting where you are, working on everything that you need to work on to arrive at this conclusion that it's already available for me. I have some work to do so that one day I can wake up into my ultimate reality and realize, hello, how are you? Good morning. I'm here. Thank you very much for listening. All information from me is below. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.